So what you have now is that general partner is now responsible for putting all the deals together and getting all the activities that he needs on that real estate transaction. So that general partner pool all the resources of all the investors, and they are now able together as unit be able to control something much larger, much more expensive that than they would typically be able to do individually. So I was going to give an example where I have a project in Somerville, Massachusetts. That project in Somerville, Massachusetts, $1.3 million is the cost of the project. Now, because I don't have $1.3 million sitting in a bank account, waiting for me to do the real estate transaction, I came together with real estate investors and partners. Each one contributed something like $5,000 or $10,000. Now, of course, there are rules and regulations that we have to comply when we are doing a syndication, because syndications are regulated by the Securities and Exchange Commission. Now, we have a group of people, 10 or 15 people that pull together, say 10 or 15 or $20,000 in a pool. Once they pool those resources and that money together, then what they do is they use that as the down payment for the project. And then they take the difference from a hard money lender or from a bank or something like that. So when they take that money and they put it, use it as a down payment and leverage, they take the $900,000 and then they do the project and they do the rehabilitation with the money of the hard money lender. In 3 to 6 months, when they're done with the project, then they are able to take that and move it back to the investors, and then the profit after the loan is paid back goes to the general partner. So you can structure these kinds of scenario by following SEC regulations on crowdfunding that is available on their website. The other thing that you can also do is, before you invest in a Securities and Exchange Commission crowdfunding, you can always go in to the SEC website and look for a SIC number of that crowdfunding platform to make sure that they're regulated. The other thing that also has to happen is that they have to follow simple rules and regulations that the SEC and the IRS sets. They have to follow simple rules and regulations that the SEC sets, such as they have to follow, sorry, I'm getting a bunch of messages. They have to follow simple rule and regulation that the SEC said, such as you have to follow accredited investors. Now, accredited investor means that the person has, let's say, a $200,000 income as an individual, or they have to have $300,000 is married, or they have to have a net worth of $1 million or more, So those are the rules and regulations that the SEC sets that you have to follow. But once you follow those rules and you get accredited investors, or you do a regulation CF for non-accredited investors, you can essentially take money from people, pull it together, and go and use and invest in real estate projects to be able to do the real estate project with your investor and your partners. Now, this allows people to get benefit in investing in real estate without necessarily putting all of their money or all of their resources and then all of their time, or having to require knowledge and competence in the industry to be able to do it. So it's a great way to get involved and leveraging the expertise of someone else in the real estate transaction while you do your own thing. So that is the gist of the crowdfunding platform and the regulation CF and the regulation D with the SEC. So it's something that was implemented by the it was upgraded by the Job Act after the crash of the 2008 market. Now, a lot of big buildings, a lot of big projects usually get funded and gets executed by regulation D or regulation A or regulation CF of a syndication and a crowdfunding. If you're going to run one, it's advisable to have an attorney involved to help you out with the projects. But really, a syndication is just people coming together, putting resources together to do real estate project and then sharing the profit. We do Regulation D and Regulation CF, both of them, and we do them on a small scale where we are partnering up with people, and our Regulation D for the accredited investor pays 12.6%, and our Regulation CF pays 20%. And we do this on an annual basis. Let me see, what kind of questions can I answer since we have people, so that we are a little bit more engaged, a little bit more. So I can try to answer some of the questions that you guys have. Let me see. I'm going to try to make sure that I allow you guys to talk, but of course, you guys are more than welcome to.
They are allowed to talk.
Okay, thank you. And you can also ask question on the chat. So what kind of questions could I answer on what I just explained? What kind of questions do you guys have that I could assist with on what I just explained?
There's one question in the Q&A.
Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, so general exit strategy on a lot of crowdfunding syndication is that the period of holding is 5 years, and you get a return every single year, and you get a 1099 and certain depreciation, and then a waterfall of some kind. Waterfall simply means that you get a return of the profit that the property makes, but you also get a return on investing your money. And on that basis, their exit strategy will be you would only get the money back after and only after they dispose of the property. And that's typically how most syndication works. Our personal syndication is because we are fix and flip kind of people. When we take the property and we rehab it and flip it. Sorry, there's an Amber Alert. Sorry. So typically when we set up our syndication, the way we dispose of the exit strategies, because we are fix and flip kind of people, we take the property and then we flip it and then we sell it, or we refinance it and then we pay dividends to our investors. That's our exit strategy typically for our investors. And it typically takes like 6 months to about 6 months to 12 months for the exit strategy of our investors. So that's the exit strategy for us. Any other questions that I can answer? Hector can put in the chat the website of our syndication so that you can look for it. On our syndication website, we have a lot of information such as the operating agreement, the fees, the structure, the limited liability of the investors. We have information about backgrounds of the managers and things like that. So you can get a lot of these information on the website and also on the Securities and Exchange Commission information.
We have another question in the chat.
Yes, other strategies of holding a fix and flip. Other strategy other than a fix and flip will be a buy and hold or a value add. So you can buy a property that needs a little bit of value add, and then you fix it, and then you add value, you increase the rent, and then you hold on to the property for a number of years, and then dispose of it when the equity has grown on the property. So you can do that. That's another strategy that you can do. So there could be a fix and flip, there could be a value add, there could be an acquisition for positive cash flow that you're holding on. So there's different strategy that a property syndication or a property syndicator can have on the books. So that is something that can definitely any other questions? Any other questions that we can answer? Okay, well, we appreciate your time, and we'll connect with you guys. If you have any questions, please reach out to us and we'll be happy to answer anything we can. Okay, thank you.